So your child has received an autism diagnosis. That news can mark the start of a brand new journey. And those first 100 days, they can feel completely overwhelming. But they're also a really critical time for learning, for getting organized, and for finding your support system. That's what this is all about. We're going to walk through it to help you navigate this important time with a little more clarity and confidence.
Okay, before we dive into anything else, let's just pause right here. This is so important to remember. A diagnosis doesn't change a single thing about who your child is. It's just a new piece of information, right? It's a tool that helps you understand them better and gives you a roadmap for how to best support them. All right, let's talk about that moment of diagnosis itself, because this isn't just some clinical thing that happens in an office. It's really the start of a profound emotional journey for you and your entire family.
It is completely 100% normal for your feelings to be all over the place. Some parents feel a huge sense of relief, like, finally, there's a reason for what they've been seeing. Others feel this deep sense of grief. And a lot of people feel both at the exact same time. There is absolutely no right or wrong way to feel about this.
In fact, a lot of parents find they go through something that looks a lot like the stages of grief. You might see denial, anger, sadness, and eventually acceptance. The key thing here, though, is that it's not a straight line. You might bounce between these feelings for a while, and that is a totally normal part of processing this life-changing news.
So, after you start working through those first big emotions, what's next?
Well, the next step is understanding. What even is autism? And more importantly, what does it mean for your kid?
Okay, so the textbook definition of autism spectrum disorder, or ASD, usually points to challenges in these three areas. But honestly, that clinical definition doesn't even begin to tell the whole story, because how these things show up is completely unique to every single person.
And that brings us to this quote, which really says it all. It's such a powerful reminder that there's no single autism. The diagnosis is a label, but your child is, and always will be, an individual first. And that's because it is a spectrum, right? Every child is going to have their own unique mix of strengths and challenges. For some, the difficulties might be pretty mild. For others, the challenges might be more severe and get in the way of everyday life. Your child's path is going to be completely their own. Now, to try and make sense of this huge variation, you'll often hear professionals talk about 3 levels to describe how much support a person might need. It goes from level 1, which might be support with social stuff, all the way to level 3 for very substantial support with communication. The best way to think about this is not as some strict label, but more like a guide to help you and your team talk about your child's specific needs.
When it comes to communication, it's really helpful to break it down into 2 things. There's expressive language, that's about getting your thoughts out. And then there's receptive language, that's about understanding what's coming in. A child might be way better at one than the other. So just because a child has a hard time speaking, it doesn't mean they don't understand everything you're saying. And another huge piece of the puzzle is how a child experiences the world through their senses. It can be completely different. Some kids are hypersensitive, where a normal sound or light can feel totally overwhelming, even painful. Then you have others who are hyposensitive, meaning they might actually seek out really intense sensory feelings. Understanding the sensory piece can explain so much about a child's behavior.
Right, so this diagnosis isn't just about your child. It really changes things for the whole family. It kind of reshapes the journey for everyone.
The thing is, everybody is in this together. Parents, partners, brothers, sisters, even grandparents. Everyone is going to process this news in their own way and on their own time. That's why talking openly and supporting each other becomes more important than ever.
And that's exactly why you've got to take care of the whole family unit. Seriously, don't be afraid to ask for help. People want to be there for you. They just might not know how. Make sure you take breaks, celebrate every single little victory, and try to connect with other families who just get it. Finding that community can make all the difference in the world.
Okay, let's switch gears and talk about the practical stuff. Building your team and finding the therapies that are going to help your child thrive. This is where you really start to take action.
And this is it, isn't it? The million-dollar question every parent has. With all the options and all the acronyms out there, it can feel like you're trying to drink from a firehouse. So, where do you even start?
So, as you start looking into therapies, you're probably going to come across 2 main ways of thinking about it. One is called applied behavior analysis, or ABA, which focuses on changing behaviors you can see. Another is a developmental approach, like DIR/floor time, which is all about building skills through relationships and play. They have different goals and different methods, and just understanding that there are different philosophies out there is a great first step to finding what feels right for your child and for your family.
But here's the thing. No matter what philosophy or approach you end up choosing, there is one thing that pretty much every single expert agrees on. The sooner you start, the better. Early intervention really does give your child the best possible chance to build new skills and improve their future.
Okay, wow. We've talked about the emotions, we've talked about understanding the diagnosis, and we've talked about finding help. Now let's pull it all together into a simple action plan to help make these first 100 days feel a little more manageable.
So here's what a roadmap could look like. And remember, this is just a guide. In week 1, just focus on getting organized. Get a binder for all the paperwork, start a phone log. By about week 4, you can start looking for your team, researching therapists. Around week 6, take a deep breath and dive into your insurance plan. And then at the end of all this, and really all the way through, you have to schedule time to take care of yourself. You can't pour from an empty cup.
Look, this isn't about hitting every single deadline perfectly. It's all about giving you a sense of direction, a way forward. A plan like this can help turn that feeling of being totally overwhelmed into a feeling of being empowered. You're taking the first real purposeful steps on this new path.
So these first 100 days, they're huge, they're foundational, but they really are just the beginning of a new journey. And yes, it's going to have challenges, but it's also going to be filled with these incredible moments of progress and joy. You've gone from the initial shock of a diagnosis to the first steps of a plan, and now you can start focusing on all the amazing possibilities that are ahead.